My mind's telling me no, but the YouTube view count is telling me yes. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and I'm going to start today with a bit of an anecdote. So Matt H asked me to play an extra turn deck of some kind, and I just kind of shipped the idea off to my Discord, like how do we make the most out of extra turns? And this isn't technically extra turns, but it was something that came up during the deck building discussion. So I'm going to try this out today, and Matt, we'll deal with some extra turns another day. So here's the game plan. We are going to use Lethal Vapors to skip all of our own turns and still win the game. Well, how are we going to do that? The One Ring is going to give us protection from everything until our next turn. You see where this is going now? So what we're going to do is we are going to cast the One Ring. And once we have protection from everything, we are going to activate Lethal Vapors a gajillion times. This will go and skip all of our turns, and we have protection from everything forever. Meaning that we win the game by decking our opponent because they are going to take all their turns, they're going to draw their cards, and they are just going to die due to an empty library. And that's really cool. And I love it. Now, there's some knowledge I'm going to have to drop here real quick. Let's take a quick look at Lethal Vapors. So, destroy Lethal Vapors, you skip your next turn. Any player may play this ability. So, does the average Legacy player understand how Lethal Vapors work? Like, have they played against that card before? The answer is probably no. So, I am hoping that my opponents don't know that they can just activate this ability more times than I go and activate this ability and end up being just fine. I think most people are going to see me comboing off and go like, oh shit, I'm dead, GG, and we're going to move on with our lives, okay? But there are going to be times where we can actually make this a true deterministic kill. And to do that, we actually want a Grand Abolisher, which keeps our opponent from activating abilities of artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. So not only will this serve as a protection spell for a lot of the things in my deck, it will also keep my opponent from activating Lethal Vapors on their own and having a way to go and win the game. So this is the game plan. Now, there's a couple of situations in which doing this loop isn't actually going to be good enough. I'll talk about the common one. Thassa's Oracle can win the game through protection from everything. Normal combat stuff isn't going to work, but win the game stuff will. And so this is a card that I do have to watch out for, and against a deck like Doomsday that's looking to win via Thassa's Oracle, I'm going to have to just board out my really cute combo, which means I am going to have some alternative ways to win the game. Don't worry, I've already got that part figured out. In theory, my cool little combo is going to take 8 mana to execute if I'm going to do it in a single turn, but I probably don't have to do it in a single turn. But I'm going to have a lot of artifact mana and spirit guides in this deck, and those are going to serve two purposes. Number one, they're going to power out the One Ring, which will then replace those cards that I drew, and number two, they're going to power out our Hate Bears and alternative win conditions. We're going to be taking some pieces of the initiative shell, specifically a black-white build, which is a little bit uncommon, and using that as our base. And we're going to try to mess with a lot of what our opponent is doing. And you know, there's some cards that you just have to play in Legacy now, and we're going to put that into our deck too. Such is life. Now, today's video is sponsored by both moxfield.com as well as Cool Stuff Inc. If you need any paper cards, check out Cool Stuff Inc. and use promo code ThrabenU at checkout to save 5% on your order. So this is what we're rocking today. This is going to be a little bit heavier on mana than a traditional black-white deck list might be. The deck should probably have around 20 lands normally. I am going 19 with 3 Simian Spirit Guides to sort of ramp out all of this stuff. And on turn 1 or 2, we are going to be looking to either play a Hate Bear or one of Seasoned Dungeoneer, Ravenloft Adventurer, or the One Ring itself. And the One Ring will sort of refuel the mana that we use, or Seasoned Dungeoneer or Ravenloft Adventurer will grab us one of our 2 copies of basics out of the deck to kind of keep the mana flowing. And the goal is to be this sort of quirky deck that can win with the initiative or just by burying our opponents with the One Ring, while also having a combo finish that is not traditional out of these sorts of deck lists. Something else to keep in mind is that this card has text that is not the 0 ability, right? Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, destroy it. Well, guess what? I can go take the initiative and play Lethal Vapors as a way to defend my initiative. And if my opponent wants to do that, like wants to play a creature, guess what? They're going to skip a turn, and we do have a sort of 4 mana extra turn card in that capacity. So it is synergy. It does come at some costs, and one of the big costs here is that if I want to play some black pip cards, especially ones that aren't attached to creatures, I just can't run Cavern of Souls in this deck list, which is normally very, very, very good in these sorts of initiative decks. I will be running 1 copy of Urborg to compensate for that, and I don't think I get to get cute with any sort of utility lands like Karakas within this build. As far as the sideboard goes, most of it is going to be dedicated towards extremely fast combo. Otherwise, we're going to have a little bit of removal for both artifacts and creatures to round things out. Because I'm getting cute with Lethal Vapors, I don't have room for something like Solitude or like Fury if I was in red to just serve as generic removal. So let's see how this does. We're definitely on the meme side of the spectrum today, but I'm hoping we do the thing a few times, and this is going to be fun regardless. Let's battle. Our first opening hand here doesn't have a play until turn 3, so that's a mulligan in my book. Turn 2, the One Ring is pretty good. It's not my ideal. I think I will be keeping this. Am I leading on Swamp and passing? I think I'm leading on Swamp and passing. The white pips here are ever so slightly awkward. All right, potential counterspell deck. Esper Sentinel. Well, you're going to get a card off of that the first time around. C'est la vie. I could slow my roll here a bit and not give them a card. Chromox, pay. Off Swamp, cast Anointed Peacekeeper. Yeah. This is only the first non-creature each turn. Put Abolisher under there. And do this whole Anointed Peacekeeper thing. Could get dazed for taking this line. Do not get dazed for taking this line. Bit awkward. Alright. I am going to go ahead and name Force of Will. It's like sort of unfortunate that my opponent has 2 differently named 1-drop removal spells, so I can't just name one and guaranteed just stop the other. So my opponent is probably going to like Lightning Bolt my creature and then cast Ponder on their turn. Alright, I'm at 17. Negative. Lethal Vapors. We're not quite ready for you yet. I'm going to just give you a card. I think the plan is go through this Force of Will. Alright. Let's force pitching a Ponder. A Dragon Rage Channeler from my opponent. And I'll take a little bit of damage here. Awkward. I don't think I can not cast my cards. Play that out so that I don't get got by days. And I'll start drawing some cards. We're a little way from doing a cool combo thing. Do have black. Alright, so my opponent gets to dig pretty deep here. Between Ancient Tomb, the onboard creatures, and the One Ring, I am going to die relatively quickly. The matchup where I need the Swords to Plowshares. Ooh, that's rough for me. Oh, wow. Wow, okay. Yep. I lose 1 to the ring. I'll try to draw myself out of this. I don't want Lethal Vapors quite yet. I don't really want to give my opponent the initiative here. 3 copies of Lethal Vapors is pretty brutal. I think I'm largely just dead here, unfortunately. Okay. I think the way that I win involves casting this turn. My opponent lets it resolve, and then next turn I tap the 1 ring, draw into mana plus another 1 ring, cast it, and execute the combo. That is a daze, unfortunately. That's 3 card types in graveyard as well. No good for me. If these Delvers flip, I am in trouble. F. So what, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I am at 1, I'm dead to Lightning Bolt. So 3 from the combat damage, 2 from the 1 ring. And like, I am dead to my own 1 ring or combat damage. Or Ancient Tomb. None of that is going to do it. I won't kill myself with Orcish Bowmasters as much as I would very much like to. Alright, GG. I would like 4 copies of Swords to Plowshares for sure here. And I have to decide whether or not I want to play Lethal Vapors. It's rough trying to execute this combo versus Force of Will, Force of Negation, and Daze. I think I can't combo this time. Like, the Lethal Vapors that I did draw were just so slow. Alright, so we're going to play Fair Magic this round. This 6 mana sources and a Swords to Plowshares. That is not going to do it. This doesn't play a spell. I will go to 5, unfortunately. Oh my gosh, this is so bad. I maybe go to 4 and force check my opponent. I don't think this keep wins. Yeah, this is a force check hand. That is the best I can do here. Oh yeah, this is 4 F. So it's usually a force check then. I'll play these out before an Esper Sentinel. And I need to spike a mana source to have a shot at this game. See what my opponent has. Meltdown. Play around Esper Sentinel, get meltdowned instead. Alright, I'm dead. Like, I'll continue to play Magic, but I mulled the 4 and then ate a 2-for-1 on the first turn. Unless my opponent has, like, the worst hand of all time. It's not happening. Ooh, there's some spice. I have this in one of my EDH decks. I haven't drawn it yet. No, you may not draw a card. I take no damage. Great. And I'll attempt to play a card. Card denied. You're maybe supposed to hit the scrub land there. Okay, cool. Cool. So now this happens. So this time they would mill 2. You don't get a card. Alright. Sometimes it's not in the cards. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, which is where I keep all of my deck lists online, and I actually want to show off a feature they made specifically for me, because their team is small and responsive. On the Settings and Decks tab, you can actually click Ignore Card Flavor Names to shut off displaying new names for cards, like Balaam's Tomb instead of Ancient Tomb. So if those sorts of things are annoying you online, here's how you shut it off. Alright, my opening hand only makes 3 mana. We really want it to make 4, and this also just has no lands. I'm going to ship this. That's an awkward hand. I can make a turn 1 Anointed Peacekeeper off these lands, and then be poised to play any 4-drop that I draw. Well, I actually can't play Seasoned Dungeoneer. I am going to say that between 2 draw steps, this hand is reasonable. Alright, are you blue deck or not blue deck? Basic Mountain. Lands? Or is this randomly the Epic Gamble? Okay. Are you like the, what is it? Not Hoarding Dragon. Oh shit, it's... What the fuck is this one? How do I see this card? Go here. When it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card. Cool. Okay, so then they're going to make a Vengevine. All right, got it. The Vengevine triggers. They get a 4/3. Also just a 3/2 with Trample. This game is fully going to come down to whether or not I draw follow-up creatures to Anointed Peacekeeper. You don't count. Oh, sorry, I have to play my Lotus Petal first. We'll Anointed Peacekeeper, and we'll name the Blazing Rootwalla. This is a pretty good addition to Madness. I probably have to block that one. I've got a little bit of time to beat these other creatures. This still leaves 5 power in play. That's awkward. Oop. Alright, so I sacrifice this. I play Boy. I have to do that now unless I want to also use a Spirit Guide. Bowmasters pings that. Got a 4/3 to worry about. I don't think I am blocking yet. Lethal Vapor's not quite good. It's fine if I can stabilize the board. I'm not there yet. I think I'm also not blocking for another turn, so I think I'm going to take my hits while I can get them. I'll go to 4, and now I'll start thinking about blocking. Can't play Archon. I'll attack with Bowmasters. Chump block with the Orc this turn. And take nothing. Thank you, deck. So now I chump block with Bowmasters. And I'm just in the abyss to this Vengevine at this point. Like, my opponent's initial plays are probably good enough here, but I don't think they would be on average. Life from the Loam as well. Sure. Yeah. I just drew mono uncastables all game. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, five misses in a row. Feel like on average we beat that start. Okay, no, I think I drew the Bowmasters in the middle. So my opponent is essentially a turn 1 combo aggro deck. Orcish of Plowshares is great. Leylines are not as good as they look, but I'm probably playing them. If I'm going to board all 8, I have to board these out. Means I probably board Grand Abolishers out, and then I'll board out one ring to round it out. Chalice is not crazy as well. Like, I could play some Chalices over the 1 ring, especially when I'm on the play. The 1 ring buys me a lot of time in some hands. Yeah, I'm going to try this. So I'm on a bit of an unexciting hand here, but I think Archon is going to be incredibly good against my opponent's deck. I'm going to have some mana problems of my own, but hopefully playing like Archon into Anointed Peacekeeper or Archon into Archon is just going to be enough to win the game. Weird things can happen with that. I think that means Anointed Peacekeeper is my play. So let's scrub land here. And I'm going to go ahead and do this now. Alright, that was just enough to win this game. That's cool. I did not show my opponent a ley line there. I'm going to stay boarded in this configuration. I will be keeping this hand, and I'm only going to put 1 ley line into play, which can be punished by something like Boseiju that I have seen from my opponent, but I think it is very important to go and put the other one under a Chrome Mox so that I can accelerate towards playing the 1 ring. Alright, they got a mountain. There's an LED. There's Faithless Looting. Now, some of the madness nonsense still is going to work through Leyline of the Void. Leyline of the Void, is primarily going to stop things like Vengevine and Ox of Agonas, is what I was going to say. I don't have to Chrome Mox yet. And I have reasons not to, because there's some worlds where I want to hardcast a Leyline of the Void. We are not in that world. So, Leyline, City. Already made my land drop this turn. I'll play this and I'll use this to spiral towards something that can win the game. Okay, so my opponent is just going to play a couple of creatures here. And they do successfully get to play these. The leyline doesn't stop that. This is on attack. It doesn't matter that they can't deal combat damage to me this turn. That should not have attacked. Opponent got a draw 3, which is really good. Let's see what their follow-up is. Boseiju on my leyline would be a bit annoying. Yep, swords is great. Very happy with that as a draw. This saved me 6 life already. Wow. The statistically unlikely amount of mana to draw. I don't think I play another leyline. All right, so I want to stop the draw 3 here. That's less important than this. So swords that. Take somewhere between 4 and 6 damage. It is 4. What is that? Fiery Temper, sure. All right, and they're just going to do that for the full cost. It's fine so far. I do need to draw anything. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3. I could do 4, 5, 6 pretty easily. I will need to find another copy of the One Ring. I think I need to not have Archon in play. Let's go ahead and cast this. Do City of Traders. Seasoned Dungeoneer. Grab a basic. The Bowmasters now. Wow, my opponent can't grow this. And then I have a bunch of blockers and a clock that hopefully beats my own One Ring. Gamble. Literal 50-50. What is that? Where is this card? 2 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. If the spell's madness cost was paid, it deals X damage divided among those permanents or players instead. Okay, so they're just ignoring that. Sure. Do I just want to go to the Lost Well and just scry for another ring? My opponent has this, like, a bunch of random burn. I'm gonna scry for another ring. Those are good cards. I'm effectively at 7 life, though. I think I bottom those. I think I'm looking for another ring very aggressively. I think I'm going to stay the course on that. All right, so activate this. Did not find another ring. I'm going to be dead to a lightning bolt effect pretty easily. My opponent is hellbent, though. Let's ping that lizard. Play a new city. Sacrifice the old one. Cast a spirit guide. Cast an Archon. I guess I don't attack with Bowmasters. Yeah. I want to put Seasoned Dungeoneer into my graveyard. Yes. Because I just want to get to a new copy of the One Ring, as that is what is going to win me this game. If I get rid of an Archon, I probably get rid of an Archon here. I treat this as 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, not lethal. Yeah, I'll go ahead and just get rid of the Archon. That'll free me up to cast multiple spells next turn. I'll stash. Make my treasure. So I get 4 looks at the One Ring. Whiff, but Swords to Plowshares should be fine. Let's go ahead and cast one of these Peacekeepers. Yeah, I'll name the card that's in your hand. Fantastic. We'll go to combat. Swing with everything. I will put a Spirit Guide into my graveyard. That puts my opponent to 4. We'll go ahead and drop a land. Play an Archon. Discard some Ancient Tombs. In my own upkeep, I will Swords to Plowshares this. Actually, hold on. Does Lightning Bolt matter? 8, 5, 8. A Lightning Bolt effect still kills me? Yeah, if a Lightning Bolt effect still kills me, I don't cast this here. Yeah, that's fine. Swords to Plowshares, target Seasoned Dungeoneer. Go to 8. Take 5 from my copy of the One Ring. And win the match. That that was some weird magic, folks. All right, round 3. We're 1-1. I have a turn 2 Archon if I want. I don't know what I'm playing against here. I think given that, I'm just going to go Plains Go here and make Archon next turn around days. All right, we're just chilling. Yeah, so let's do some stuff. All right, attempt Archon. A little awkward because like it's a spell that's better the earlier in the game you play it because your opponent's fetch lands go and trip over it. Oh, okay. This is nice. If Archon resolves and my opponent has a removal spell, they at least have to do the removal spell on my opponent's turn instead of on my own turn. All right, it's in play. I'm a little worried after seeing Island that we might just be playing against something like Show and Tell. I will be jamming a Seasoned Dungeoneer this turn. Cacaw. Power is unmatched. All right, basic? Basics. No, I have white cards in hand. I'll get a scrub. All right, Seasoned Dungeoneer. Grab the swamp here. I can't Lotus Petal because of my Archon. And we'll see if some show and telling happens. Oh. Narset's fine. Finding a Swords to Plowshares. All right, fantastic. I am interested in... A lot of this is whether or not my opponent has exactly Supreme Verdict. I think I'm going Lost Well in respect of Supreme Verdict. I'll bottom that land. I will top another initiative creature. I'm going to send that at Narset, finish off Narset. I'll send that directly at their face. I will put Lotus Petal into my graveyard. That is fine. My opponent goes to 13. If another creature gets caught up under a Supreme Verdict, I would like it to be Grand Abolisher. It's a little awkward because like my opponent could Swords to Plowshares Archon and then rattle off a couple of spells, but I don't think I want to expose double Archon to Supreme Verdict. And I feel good about that decision. All right, Jeskai control. We will go to Stash. The sequencing this turn is a little awkward. I'm okay with it. Like it's an it is what it is situation. I have to do this one first. That gets me my Skelly. And then I do the Archon. Fourth Aorlingas is quite good right now. It's a good one spell to play off of Archon. All right, there's a Swords on the Adventurer. Oh, that's my opponent's one spell. They might have messed up here. All right, cool. So I get to Throne of the Dead 3. Bowboy? Dick Bowboy? Is that better than another Ravenloft Adventurer? I think it attacks from a different angle. I did put a couple copies of the One Ring on the bottom of my library, though. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Nice. So I will ship on in there for 6. Opponent is at 5, facing down lethal. This is my one spell for the turn. I'll draw on my opponent's turn. They basically need another board wipe. And they don't have it. GG. No sideboarding versus this opponent? I think Chalice is reasonable. I don't think I'm going to play it when I'm on the draw. Plus, if I sideboard out Lethal Vapors every round, people are going to riot. Turn 1, Chrome Mox, Imprint, Abolisher, Bowmasters. Turn 2, either the One Ring or Seasoned Dungeoneer. This hand is a keep. My opponent has Narset, which makes doing the One Ring a little bit riskier. I'm going to bottom the One Ring here. I don't know if that's correct. Like, it's like fear of Narset versus fear of Swords to Plowshares, but this leaves me with the initiative afterwards. That's a real good play. I don't think I take it, though. Like, I'm very tempted. But I think I just do this and pass. This catches an end-of-turn Brainstorm or a Sorcery Speed Ponder or whatever pretty well. I will just cast this here. I don't think this is the ideal way to use this card, but I think I'm down. I also think I attack before choosing which spell that I am going to play. My opponent did not have a counter spell last turn. Their cantrips are already awkward because of Bowmasters. I'm going to go with Archon, though. I think tightening the vice grips I have on this game, I think that will be useful. Oh, wow, no spells. Mentor. Awkward. I have to decide whether or not I want to introduce the initiative to this game. I don't think I do. I think I just play an Archon and treat Mentor as a 3/3. Not even sure that I attack. I, in fact, think I won't. Like, if I can take this Mentor off the board, then I can ride the initiative to a win pretty easily. Cool. What about this turn? I think with the ability to take it back now, I do this. Ooh, it actually happened. I will grab that Plains. I'm very unsure about whether or not I should attack. I think I just attack since I can play another Seasoned Dungeoneer next turn 100% of the time. Alright, my opponent took it. Did not cast any spells. It is a Supreme Verdict, unfortunately. If I ended up playing too conservatively. Let's go Scry here. I think I bottom both of those. Grubland's a very medium draw here. So 2 mana, and I think I play this. Cast Seasoned Dungeoneer. Go to Stash, which gives me a treasure token, which lets me play Grand Abolisher to make my opponent play on my terms. Another Mentor is spooky. Ooh, and it looks like my opponent has a follow-up spell this time. Alright, so now they've got cantrips. Seasoned Dungeoneer can attack through. We're hoping my opponent does not have a Swords to Plowshares this exact turn. Okay, cool, they don't. They get a Skeleton. So my opponent does not have Swords to Plowshares in their hand. They would have used it on their turn. I can give Grand Abolisher protection and then attack in with both of these effectively, which I think is better than just going all in on Seasoned Dungeoneer here. Do that, targeting the Abolisher. Yes, I will put Simian Spirit Guide into my graveyard. Alright, my opponent has gone to 4. I don't have a follow-up play here. My opponent can take the initiative. I guess I have to worry about them taking the initiative and following it up with a Supreme Verdict. The Wandering Emperor. That can exile probably Seasoned Dungeoneer. Okay, yep, that happens. I guess I'm scared if my opponent has a second removal spell, which they do have. So I am going to be a little short of doing cool things. My opponent takes the initiative. I may lose this one for having been a little bit conservative against Mentor in the early turns, but the second Supreme Verdict was pretty brutal. This is very good. This is very, very good. And everything that I do is going to resolve as well. I want to go ahead and attack my opponent's face here. They just have to chump block, which is fine. And while I know it resolves because of Grand Abolisher, I will go ahead and Orcish Bowmasters, take out my opponent's Planeswalker, and now their cantrips come at a pretty high price. I now have 3 bodies for the purposes of trying to take the initiative back and get to Throne of the Dead 3. It's a super interesting game. Alright, yeah, I kind of thought my opponent had that based on how they tapped and untapped some stuff last turn. But I just have to guarantee that that Planeswalker dies. Mystic Sanctuary is very good. Targeting a Brainstorm. Alright, that's reasonable. I'll take that damage. So I'm very likely dead next turn. Even if my opponent double blocks here. Brainstorm alone is 5 damage. I think I have to swing in with both, though. and force. Well, not force. Like, my opponent could take this and go to 1, but that's very scary. Like, I think my opponent double blocks these and just holds the initiative. Alright. I will make this land drop. I don't think that matters. Again, I think I'm dead to just Brainstorm. Okay, so my opponent has Ponder plus Brainstorm. I am 1 point of damage away from being dead. Assuming they ponder into any castable spell, I am dead. Oh, I live to see another day. Maybe not graciously. If I cast this, claim the Swords to Plowshares, that I know about. Am I deterministically dead? So my opponent casts Swords, removes one of these blockers. Take this. What if I do it this way? Block is more or less forced. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. I force the block. My opponent can Swords this. I can go up to 6 life, take 5 from Mentor and the Monk token. Yeah, my opponent drew Fireball. Yeah, there it is. Yep, I will concede to that. I knew from very early on in the matchup that, like, this is why they were in red. Alright, now that I know that they are on Mentors, Swords makes a lot more sense. Lethal Vapors is cute against Mentor. I don't think I can do that. Grand Abolisher was surprisingly good. Oh, no, I do not want League details. Chalices, when I'm on the play, are a little bit better. Some number of Abolishers out. Boarding in both these at the same time is a bit of a non-bow. Go down 1 mana source. This is a keep. It's almost always a turn 2 Ravenloft Adventurer. I think I lead on this land. Alright, we're just staring at each other. I think I'm going to do this. I think if one of these gets countered, I want it to be the One Ring. We'll draw this card now. Don't want the extra mana there. Alright, cool. Now I hope to just kind of spiral this game out of control with some fast mana. Yeah. So, attempt a Chalice on 1. That has resolved. Cast Chromox. Imprint Ravenloft Adventurer, I think. Lose City of Traders. And go for Seasoned Dungeoneer. Alright, things are looking good. Grab Plain since I have black under here already. I do not know what my opponent is fetching to do at this stage. Like, Snapcaster Mage? Snapcaster Mage. So they could, like, play a Teferi, bounce my Seasoned Dungeoneer, and take the initiative. It's like he's a psychic. Okay, sure. My opponent's pretty unlikely to have a counterspell. Like, I have given them a large number of cards that probably should have been counterspelled if they had the opportunity to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 easy mana. I think I just play Urborg. Tempted. I run into my Chalice shutting off Swords as an issue here. Alright. Plan proceeds. Oh, alright. There's Force Pitching Force, so I'm wrong. Discard on Marsh Flats. And take 4 from the Snapcaster, which is pretty annoying. Yeah, I might lose this game to my own Chalice. Alright, there's another land drop. Narset's annoying. Very good against the One Ring. And my opponent found Fireball. Yeah, I might die here. Go to 4. So I'm playing a new One Ring to get protection from everything. I probably can't take the 2 damage to also Bowmasters. Okay. Get protection from everything. Keep this one. Pass the turn. My Swords is not doing me any favors here. Oh, yeah. So my opponent can trap themselves if they'd like. Nice, they will. You can go through the middle middle room archive to avoid that scenario. Ooh, my opponent found Force of Will and has the ability to hard cast that. I lose no life here. So I need to double spell this turn, which means playing Anointed Peacekeeper first. All right, it's down. Now I can ping Narset and turn the One Ring back on. How am I beating 4th Aerlingas? Because this doesn't stop. I guess it stops the red source from getting into play, but this just gets chump blocked. Okay, so then I think we are on Bow Boys. We'll ping Narset. This gives me a chump block versus Snapcaster Mage and makes some cantrips worse. My opponent is guaranteed to archives, so I can ping my opponent's face and amass more orcs. Nice. That goes face. They're at 11. I am dead to them having a red source. That is the red source. Yeah, I lost this game to my own Chalice of the Void, keeping me from casting Swords to Plowshares on the Snapcaster Mage, just unironically. Yeah, that's such a good control finisher. I will concede. I wasn't too far away from turning that corner, but I just can't beat that 4th Aerlingas. Alright, we might see a fair Lethal Vapors in this game. Oh, so my plan is turn 1 either Scrubland or Marsh Flats, pass, turn 2 Ravenloft Adventurer, and then I can turn 3 Lethal Vapors to help defend the initiative. My opponent has mulligan to 5 though, and if my opponent is just on some extremely fast thing, I make sad noises. Ball Therapy resolves. We're potentially playing against Doomsday. Oh, they targeted themselves. We're playing against Dredge. Fair Lethal Vapors might actually be pretty reasonable. I'm gonna go Marsh Flats and pass. There's a bridge in the graveyard. There's an Icarid in the graveyard. Yeah, Lethal Vapors not gonna look too bad. Coliseum is gonna be annoying here. Okay, cool. That could have been worse. I would love, love, love to steal game 1 here. We're gonna end of turn fetch, grab a Scrubland, another Ravenloft Adventurer. My opponent has an Icarid on their turn. That's it as of right now. I cannot play Lethal Vapors this turn. I think this is an okay City of Traders turn. Individual points of life are going to end up mattering a lot. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead and put a hit counter on it. That is going to be extremely relevant. This is not strong graveyard hate, but it is graveyard hate. It doesn't super matter which one of these I get here. So if that Icarid goes to die, it's going to get exiled instead. Which is real good. Is real, real good. The Narcomoeba is a little annoying. There's a Brainstorm, which is going to pop off. My opponent gets some Narcomoebas. Now they can Cabal Therapy me. They don't get Bridge from Below tokens. They can name the Lethal Vapors that they know about. I don't think they know about my second Ravenloft Adventurer. This is the first time that I've actually seen this middle mode of Ravenloft Adventurer actually matter. Oh wait, they targeted me with Cabal Therapy the first time. Yeah, hot damn, we got game 1 versus Dredge. That's huge. So, ley lines, yes. Fairy, yes. From here it gets a little harder. Grand Abolisher is not particularly strong. I should be considering swords as well. So, do I play Lethal Vapors? It is 4 mana Time Walk in this matchup. 4 mana Time Walk, probably with upside. I think on the draw it is too slow. I think it is reasonable on the play. From here, I'm having trouble evaluating. Like, if I play the One Ring, I'm playing it as Fog with upside. And it's pretty good as Fog with upside. Bowmasters can ping itself to get rid of bridges. That's relevant. think I'm trimming rings. This does mean that I cannot expect to get rid of my own ring. I don't like this hand, like especially since I just have Leyline available to me. This is turn 1 Ravenloft Adventurer, or alternatively turn 1 Archon. This is going to be a keep. Probably pitching Seasoned Dungeoneer here. We'll see what my opponent has. Like, they can have a very explosive turn 1 before I get in here, but the Otherworldly Dredge version tends to be a little bit slower to start. There's a Careful Study. Finding Double Dredger. So always this. Always this. I think imprinting Anointed Peacekeeper. I think my opponent has Force of Vigor. They paused oddly when I had Chrome Mox. So if I lose both of these in this turn cycle, I should play Ravenloft Adventurer so that I can then play Scrubland into Archon next turn to have a follow-up play. Whereas I don't have a follow-up play the other way around. Although this could just get Force of Willed. Daze. Sure. Okay, there's a Narcomoeba. 1 Bridge from Below in Graveyard. Cabal Therapy. Ravenloft Adventurer is a miss, but they can sacrifice Narcomoeba to get Archon. I think you name a 4 of in my deck instead of like a card that has 3 copies in it, if you're probably going to miss. Alright, I lose the Archon. I'm not in the best shape here. I think no land drop. I want to be able to play a 4-drop if I draw one. A new Narcomoeba. I don't care about the Cabal Therapies right now. So, is this one targeting themselves? No, it's still targeting me. I've named Leyline of the Void. I take a little bit of damage here. Going to 18. Ancient Tomb is not a great draw for me. It probably means that I go ahead and do play Scrubland, though. I may just kind of blood out here. Okay, they've got Stern Dismissal to help with Leyline. Not seeing ways to get Ravenloft Adventurer out of play, so that is very much a counter it sort of thing. Alright, this one is targeting them to put a Dredger back. Okay, they do have a Stern Dismissal. This is creature or enchantment. I guess that's a way to get the Ravenloft Adventurer out of play. Rough. There's an Icarid plus another Bridge from Below. That is a pretty disastrous combo for me. And I think I have to concede if my next draw isn't reasonable. It is reasonable. I'm going to play this. Set a stop in their draw step. I'm going to let that come back. This is all fine. So let's go ahead and play an Orcish Bowmasters. I can ping my opponent here, right? And then double block. That's fine. I want to do this in a way that gets rid of a zombie. Probably. I guess, actually, they could Stern Dismissal their own token. Oh, fuck, they stack these. I did this wrong. I should have just pinged my Bowmasters to start with. We take those. Alright. Or no, they didn't stack that wrong. Non-token creature. Alright, so Icarid comes back. Get a Narcomoeba. Flyers are annoying. The Icarid, I think, is more of a problem, though. So let's take that out. And stabilizing the board is going to be tough. Like, there's another Icarid here. I play this, my opponent brings back Icarid. I am deterministically dead on board. So, I have some options. When I'm on the play, I can play Chalice of the Void to help keep them from getting anything into the graveyard in the first place. I'm not sure that I want to do that. It's fine. That's all it is, though. Like, the issue with, like, when you're on the play and you Chalice of the Void on 1, if your opponent has a Dredger in hand, they just draw a card for turn, discard their Dredger, and like they're playing Magic, so your Chalice of the Void doesn't do as much as you think it might. It does, like, a Chalice on 1 does stop these things from getting bounced. That's not nothing. Maybe I play some. Again, like, playing Chalice and Swords side by side is super awkward. Maybe I go down Anointed Peacekeepers when I'm on the play for Chalices. I'm hoping to just have a reasonable Leyline of the Void hand that has some mana. This is not that. Am I going to keep this? I don't think I'm going to keep this. I have such good Leyline of the Void hands that I'm not going to be playing today. This doesn't actually make a turn 1 Seasoned Dungeoneer, huh? By the fact that it has 4 mana on turn 1. Yeah, I'll be going to 5 here. Yeah, yep, okay. Just checked. Leyline of the Void is in my deck. I don't know that this hand wins. Like, I'm already on 5, and then I have no persistent mana sources that don't require me to go down another card. I will go to 4. This is easily the best hand that I've seen so far. I don't think it's good enough. This turn 2 Archon into maybe turn 3 Ravenloft. But I'm just not going to do better than that on this number of cards. Alright. Let's remove that stop. Yeah, so my opponent is just not going to play a spell. Too hard discard, just like I talked about. So there's Scrubland into Archon. This is an awkward play for me because it means that Lotus Petal is no longer good for me as a way to get these 4-drops into play. Okay. That definitely could have been worse. God damn it. That's so frustrating. Alright. Opponent is at 18. I cast this, and that's my 1 spell per turn. Then my opponent gets a chance to do their thing. There's a Stern Dismissal. Opponent sure doesn't get to cast things with mana. Alright. Oh wow, they do have a basic island. Hogak in the yard. I think I'm dead if my opponent has Force of Will. I've seen 2 of them already. But like, some portion of the time they have the 4th one. Alright. I think I just play the good one first. Because it's very good if they don't have the Force. They do. My opponent eats 2 damage. I don't know that Seasoned Dungeoneer is going to race what my opponent does this turn. Said no to Icarid. Is reasonable. Okay. So attempt to do Archon beats here. Opponent goes to 12. I am going to use this Lotus Petal here and save this life. I think that matters a lot. Sure, that's fine. There is a Narcomoeba, which is very annoying. It means my opponent can take the initiative. Grab a basic. Doesn't really matter which one. I've already made my land drop for turn. Alright, Icarid comes into play. I don't immediately have to worry about a Hogak, but it's on the horizon. Couple Bridge from Belows over there. But my Seasoned Dungeoneer can attack through my opponent's blockers. Not getting forged this turn is such a huge deal, though. I don't know, if my opponent can't put Hogak into play this turn, I might just aggro them out. Probably have to hold back Archon. Oh, no, no, they can't. Archon gives them 1 spell. Okay, sure. This line does give them a bunch of zombies, though. Okay, yeah. But not a lethal amount of zombies. They have 13 damage showing. Assuming I do a block on an Icarid, I think I'm okay. So swing with this. Is that a fine draw? So 4 puts my opponent to 7. 4 puts them to 3. Trap kills them. I will never survive another combat step, so the extra body does not matter. I will put that into my graveyard. I guess I'm losing to like a Stern Dismissal. Go to Forge. I forge up this body so it can live through an Icarid block. Or some weird small removal spell. Alright. Otherworldly Gaze is hopefully fine. Does Narcomoeba kill me? Narcomoeba would kill me. Alright. Did not hit Narcomoeba. Hit another... No, did not hit another Icarid? Okay, then I think I'm fine. That was a regular draw. Yeah, so they need to find a bounce spell for my Seasoned Dungeoneer. They left back Narcomoeba. They might have it. So do that block. Take 12. You take the initiative. You can forge up that Narcomoeba if you want. There's 2 Stern Dismissals in graveyard already? No, 3 in graveyard already. Alright. I mean, show it to me. God damn it. Or no, this is fine. That's their one spell. Or no, it's not fine. Because I trap them and then they go to 2 because they can block here. Oh, that's frustrating. Yeah, alright, I'm dead. That's unfortunate. We almost brought that back on, what was that, a mold of 4? GG's. Alright, final round. Let's see if we can get the Vapors to do something. We'll be starting this one on Archon to buy some time, and then we'll use that time to do some cool, like, Bowmasters and One Ring stuff. Street Wraith? That is Street Wraith. If we are playing against a Death Shadow deck, we just bought a very large amount of time. So, when do I play this Bowmasters? I think on my opponent's end step, if they don't do anything. If I just fire it off in response to a spell that they do, it's effectively uncounterable, which is pretty dope. Tapped Watery Grave that my opponent paid life for. Alright. So I will fetch on my own here. I think I do a Scrubland. My mana is a little shaky right now. This is counterable. But I think I just need to put that extra power into play and get this show on the road. Lotus Petal Archon has been a problem a couple times in this league for me. I still think it's supposed to be in the deck. It is incredibly powerful and very good at doing what it does. But, I could maybe be playing, like, Opposition Agent over it. Cool. That is your one spell. 5/5s are reasonable. I would like to start casting copies of the One Ring, please. Physically, how I do that is pretty interesting. Like, do I use the Lotus Petal? I'm not sure. I think I don't. I have cards like Bowmasters that I can draw to play on my opponent's turn if I tap like this. We'll go ahead and do this. Seasoned Dungeoneer is plenty cool. I'll just attack for 2 here. My opponent's at 6. They get 1 spell. Strix is a damn good 1 spell. Kind of. I'll ping Strix. Alright, no attack with Death Shadow, which is great for me. That means I get to just keep doing my bullshit over here. I will draw a card. Land drop. I think I can do a new copy of this. Yeah. Keep this one. Attack my opponent for 2 again. Put them to 4. A Murktide Regent as a 3/3 flyer. So what am I doing about that? I think I just play my Seasoned Dungeoneer and kill my opponent another turn cycle or so down the line. I think I don't draw. Still kind of need these Ancient Tomb activations. Ugh. Alright, so I'll play this. Gives me very reasonable attacks. Go grab my planes. Play planes. No attack for this turn. Archer, not one of the words on this card. Okay, my opponent conceded. I don't know that that game was over. Because, like, if they attack with Murktide Regent, I have very real and difficult choices. Alright. How do I feel about this? It feels slow on the draw. Reasonable on the play. What does my boarding look like then? 6, 4, 2? Use these to blow up Baleful Strix? It's okay. I don't mind this in a lot of situations, like where I play a Seasoned Dungeoneer and then I play a Lethal Vapors to protect the initiative and like blow up my opponent's next creature. Like I truly do not hate that. If I play City of Traders on turn 1, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and just slam a 4-drop on turn 1. I probably won't do that. I'll probably like do like Marshflat's Pass or Scrublands Pass and then do one of them on turn 2 around Daze. I think I will keep this hand. It's a little awkward if my opponent like has both Thoughtseize and Daze. But at least I have 2 4-drops. Alright, I lost Seasoned Dungeoneer. My opponent cycled a Street Wraith, a second Street Wraith. So, am I YOLOing? I am terrified of Reanimate on Seasoned Dungeoneer. I think I am YOLOing. Yep. There's the ring. Alright, we're in play. I'll 100% just draw my card right now before Bowmasters can happen. Reanimate on my Seasoned Dungeoneer is so strong right now. Okay, cool. Alright, sure. That's down to 10. Death's Shadow is live. That's a lot of Street Wraiths. Okay, cool. This all could have gone so much worse for me. This is awkward mana-wise. I have to play my Bowmasters at sorcery speed here. And it doesn't gear up for Ravenloft Adventurer next turn very well. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, opponent goes to 5. I have a couple of blockers. My blockers don't die to Snuff Out. I have a Swords to Plowshares to answer some things that my opponent can do. That's annoying, but acceptable. Yeah. I'm fine as long as my opponent does not have a counterspell for the Swords to Plowshares that I am about to cast. Yeah. Nice. We'll just do this now around Bowmasters. This Orc is worth a good amount of life later. I do not believe that I attack. Yep. That is a shuffle there. There is a Death's Shadow. But at least as of last turn, my opponent did not have a counterspell or anything. I am going to try to find some extra mana to play out this turn. I think this is still worth tapping here. Despite the fact that the life loss will certainly add up. A Chromox is cool. Let's go ahead and cast that. You, maybe? It's a white card because I want triple white this turn for what I'm about to do. I want to go white, play Grand Abolisher, then white to uncounterably Swords to Plowshares Death Shadow. At this point, this trade would be acceptable to me. Yep, my opponent is fine with that as well. I do need to find a new copy of the One Ring. There's a Snuff Out. Counterspells are back on the table. Strix is kind of whatever. This is fine. I am gonna just dig for another one. I think it's so much life loss if I don't whiff. Hello? 1, 2, 3, 4 with land drop, 5 with Bowmasters. My stuff's gonna be dazable. I will go ahead and cast a Seasoned Dungeoneer. Grab that swamp. I've already made my land drop. This is dazable. I'm just going to do it now before I discard a card. All right. We end up with a 2-3 finish to this league. All right. Well, that was fun. I enjoyed that a lot, but we never did do the thing with Lethal Vapors. That said, we did find multiple situations where Lethal Vapors was actually good, or at least we would have cast it, or did cast it, but it didn't fully impact the game. We ran into situations where we had like both sides, but never where we had both sides and the appropriate level of mana. The One Ring was definitely spiraling games in a way that was leading me to get to the correct amounts of mana, but like here's what I think the primary problem is. When you are drawing cards with the One Ring, like the secondary things that are in my deck are just ending the game fast enough that I don't need this. And while Lethal Vapor's like backing up an initiative creature is still totally reasonable, like a lot of times the initiative creatures were just killing, at least in the games that I was winning. Some of the mana being temporary here was more of a problem than I thought it would be, in terms of getting to higher mana counts to attempt the combo. And it's possible you just need to do this in the Nick Fit, like Teferi Vacation style deck, where like you do actually physically ramp out lands. Or maybe you need to drop some degree of hate bears. I will say Archon of Emeria was awkward, like incredibly strong, but very awkward. A different direction to take this would be to remove Archon of Emeria, add Dark Rituals where Simian Spirit Guides are, and play opposition agents. I know I probably got 10,000 things in the comments like, Phil, why are you playing Dark Ritual? And the answer was like Archon of Emeria, although I should have covered that in the deck tech. But like I thought tripping over that later on in the game was going to be too much of an issue, where the Spirit Guide can still be a mana burst through an Archon. If I were to play this again, and I don't think I would, because like Lethal Vapors was the weakest thing in the deck list, despite having relevant text a couple of times. If I were to play this again, I think I do remove Archon. But also, like, is this better than just playing Solitude and playing a reasonably strong black-white initiative deck list? And ultimately, the answer is probably like, no, it's not. But you know, sometimes you got to experiment. Sometimes you got to find out for sure. Generally speaking, I like the options that were available to me outside of the sideboard. And I feel like I played reasonable Magic today, which is about all that I can ask for when I play a deck that looks like this. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you end up needing any paper Magic cards, please check out Cool Stuff Inc. and use promo code ThrabenU to save 5% on your order. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. See ya.